This week on Arizona Illustrated, The Inn, a welcoming place for migrants.
The time that we are able to spend with them ends up being life-changing.
A yoga class designed for strippers.
Stripping gave me a house, it gave me food, it paid my bills for the last 10 years.
And the Northern Jaguar Reserve, helping to save the endangered jaguar. Welcome to Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. In December of 2016, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, asked United Methodist Churches of Tucson to house families coming out of detention. Well, this effort has been life-changing for thousands of families who found temporary shelter and a welcoming path to a new life. Producer David Fenster visited one location to see what it's like. This is The Inn.
¿Cuántos años usted?
12.
12. ¿Y su fecha de nacimiento?
El 23 de mayo.
Ok. 2007.
2007.
Muchas gracias. ¿Y tú de Guatemala?
Guatemala.
Y recuerdo cuál fecha de entrar a Estados Unidos, entrar con inmigración.
¿Ayer?
¿Ayer? Ok. Uy, muy bien, solo un noche en detención. ¿Ya? ¿Y por dónde entramos a Estados Unidos? ¿Recuerdo qué parte?
Sonorita.
En Sonorita. ¿Y tú ir a Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio?
Sí.
¿Y era tu hermano?
Sí.
Oh, muy bien. It's a huge privilege to be able to be in that space of welcoming these families. I don't even know the right words to use to explain it. I think comparing it to like a birth or a death is very, very valid.
Bueno, mi experiencia aquí no pensé que fuera así. Yo vengo de Cuba. No me esperé que me trataran tan bien. No esperé ver tanta amabilidad. Y las personas, los voluntarios, tienen un gran corazón. The next step is in New Jersey, the house of my uncle. I fly tomorrow in airplane. Excited to start over a new life here. Prepare for the challenge of the life. Que la vida me sonría, ¿no? Y espero poder lograr grandes cosas aquí en el mejor país del mundo.
¿Y tú eres embarazada?
Sí.
¿Cuántos meses?
Sí.
Igual de mío. ¿Con una niña o niño?
Niño.
Un niño, otro. The families that we are seeing are families that are originating from Guatemala, Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, but also from Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Romania, Russia, China. These are all families that have fled their home with a credible fear. It's a really hard decision, and it's not the decision that they wanted to have to make. And so for some, that might have meant flying into Mexico first. For some, that may have been a bus journey through Mexico. It might have been a journey on top of the train. They make it to the Mexican-US border, and then they present themselves for asylum. Then they are taken into custody at the port and put in detention. And then once they determine, okay, yes, this family does qualify to be permitted entry into the United States to continue the process for asylum, then I receive communication from immigration. Do you have space to receive them?
My sister started first, and then I started coming with her to help. I help make beds. I cook meals. I enjoy cooking. I also do some cleaning, and I take families up to get clothing. Our mom raised us to be very open-minded and to be able to help others, whether they're from here in the U.S. or Guatemala or anywhere. We provide beds for them to sleep on, showers and towels, food, transportation to the bus station after they've talked to their families. As soon as I get here, I go down the stairs and I just feel like, oh, so much better. Just to be able to be here, like it just fills a void in my life. Like it fills whatever spot in my heart that's emptied. It just does. It just fills that void like, I'm meant to help others. I'm meant to help these families and children.
We only receive families that have minor children with them. And those are the only families that are being released by immigration right now. Every once in a while, there might be a family that it's a little more intricate of a situation. So in this case, it is a pregnant mom who was separated from her husband. They're from China and they speak Mandarin. So she came to us and was really kind of in more of a fragile space, I guess you could say. And I knew I needed to reach out and try to find someone that could speak Mandarin. Just trusting on Google Translate is a little risky.
Estaba muy bonito el viaje y también nos divertimos mucho aquí con mi hermano y nos dieron juguetes. En Ecuador no sabemos jugar con eso.
Solo yo y mis dos niños. He venido pasando por Panamá. Bueno, no he caminado, pero llegué a ese aeropuerto. Dios le bendiga. Primeramente le doy gracias a Dios por tenerme aquí en este lugar. Por el momento que llegamos nos atendieron muy bien, estamos con comida, mis niños están divertidos. Mucho gracias a Dios y a las personas que me aceptaron aquí. Me voy a Nueva York, ahí vive mi familia y quiero reunirme con mis hijos. No tengo más que decirle, darle gracias a Dios y en segundo lugar a este país muy bonito que nos da oportunidades y no lo vamos a defraudar.
I think I was driving home one day from here and I was like, why do I feel so full? Like, why do I, like my soul and just everything, why do I feel so full after my day there at the inn with these families? And I felt guilty about that. When you're with someone through vulnerability, it takes a lot of trust and a lot of patience. And these are people of such strength that the time that we are able to spend with them, that time ends up being life-changing on both the guests as well as to the volunteers.
Como un ladrón en la noche, mi Jesús así vendrá. Todos los que estemos listos, volaremos hacia Él. Hermanos, si te listas, no te quieres afirmar. Cristo aparezca,
Yoga is a centuries-old practice, and it's become a more integral part of a healthy lifestyle for many Americans. In Tucson, one local entrepreneur has adopted that practice for her own health and to help her colleagues by creating a safe, positive community for strippers. What you are about to watch contains adult themes of a sexual nature. Due to the sensitive nature of this content, viewer discretion is advised.
There's the two arguments, right? That stripping is demeaning to women, that it's anti-feminist, that it's, promoting the idea that women are pieces of property. And then there's the other side of it. Sex work is empowering and it makes you strong. The reality of stripping sits right in the middle of that. It's a normal job. To begin to notice your breath. You don't need to change your breath, just noticing the way the air fills as it moves in and out of your body. There's something about us. Maybe it's just a comfort with our sexuality or a way we move or a way we interact with other human beings. Whether it be the shorter shorts or this hyper flexibility or the booties poking out just because that's the way we accidentally stand. Take another big inhale, last cleansing breath, biggest breath you have taken yet today. Fill up your lungs, pause. When my friends from work would come to see me at the yoga studio I teach at, they really stood out. Other, out, other, out. Ooh, why does twerking make that pose more fun? It really does, right? I just kind of realized that it would be really nice to have a space where we could just come together and practice yoga. Maybe if we accidentally shook our butt a little bit, it wouldn't be shocking to the whole back row of the class, Something that happens a lot to us in the strip club is our job is very physically and emotionally demanding in a unique way.
If you are actually like a pole dancer, it's not easy. It's not easy for sure. I do it every day and my back, everything hurts. So I just feel like yoga is just needed.
Let's take an inhale, bend your knees slightly and look forward.
The club does a lot of wear and tear on our bodies. So she designs her sequences to counteract that.
Nice work, guys. Think about how much a dancer must squat giving, even if I gave 10 lap dances in one night, they're 3 minutes apiece. Think about how much I'm squatting during that time. We're standing all the time and we're doing so in 6, 8, 9-inch heels. We need more restorative healing poses. So I really wanted to offer something like that. And I also wanted to give the people coming to Strippa Yoga some hints on how to do some of the more flexible extreme poses that, people like seeing on stage, how to do them safely and correctly while being mindful of their body. There it is.
So a lot of people have been asking me how Strippa Yoga went, and the answer is that it went incredible! I am so grateful to all of you wonderful, gorgeous strippers who came and hung out. Thank you to everyone who showed some support.
When I met her, I literally could not get the smile off my face. She's literally like a light that walks in the room. She's so positive and she's so nice to everybody. She's not judgmental at all.
My name is Jessica Kind. I am the founder of Strippa Yoga. I have been teaching yoga for about 4 years now. I have been stripping for nearly a decade. When you think about the most commonly reported nightmares, what's a totally stereotypical one? Being naked in front of your peers, right? And here we are, we're naked in front of our peers and we're pay me, And so we're living people's worst nightmare and we're literally making people give us money for it. And if you don't think that's epic, I don't know what's going on in your head. I come from a really loving family, but we also grew up very poor. I'm sure they wanted to be able to give me the kind of life where they were going to pay for me to go to college or pay for my rent or like buy me my first car. It just was never going to be an option for them. I first went to a strip club. I was 16 years old. There were, people on stage just doing their own thing, lots of different styles, music, enthusiasm, and I saw, my 16-year-old mind. I saw these girls on stage, shaking it and making what at that time, I worked at Denny's, a significant amount of money. And so that light kind of clicked on my head that, that could be something that I could do when I turned 18. It was an option for me. And I just thought I was gonna go in there and I was gonna be the hottest, coolest girl ever. Like, I'm 18, I just think I'm gonna go in there and just rock everyone's world. And that's just not the way it goes down when you're a baby stripper. I went in there and I tripped a bunch and was awkward and weird and wasted my time. And me being as friendly as I am, I was just in there like, hey girls, like, you wanna be my best friend? And they're like, I'm trying to work. It was all kind of like uphill from there,
Forward, push your right shoulder back and then maybe look over your right shoulder. Be gentle. It's very early in practice.
Stripping gave me an option. I gave me a house. It gave me food. It paid my bills for the last 10 years. It gave me boundaries. I have really strong boundaries. It's given me the best friendships I've ever had.
I have been friends with Jessica since I started dancing in September. So when she started it, I was one of the first people she invited because I was a baby stripper. I didn't really know what I was doing. She was like, hey, come on, this is a really good environment to kind of let go of all the energies of the strip club because sometimes it can be really crazy in there.
You're naive before you start stripping. And I wish that I would have got to be naive about the world a little bit longer. We do have to acknowledge, if we're being honest, that a lot of sexual assault happens within the strip club. That can cause a lot of trauma, I get rejected anywhere from 10 to 50 times a night, You can only imagine what that would do to a normal, completely normal person's psyche, you know what I mean? But add that on top of dealing with all of the judgments and stigma surrounding stripping. I dealt with some mental health stuff growing up. As a teenager, I did do the medication route, and I believe that that can be helpful for a lot of people, but I felt that it numbed the best parts of me, my vivaciousness, my outgoingness, and it just kind of made me this like dead, even level person. So I stopped taking those, but I was still dealing with depression, anxiety. And so when I started going to yoga and actually taking my practice a lot more seriously, I found that I wasn't dealing with those really sad episodes anymore. It was genuinely acting as like a medicine for my depression. What's cool about Strippa Yoga is that we're giving people yoga. And what yoga does is kind of gets us to a point where we are able to slow down our mind enough to kind of understand where a lot of our feelings are coming from. When I slow down my mind enough to realize I'm not ugly, people are weird, and maybe I need to work on my sales techniques a little bit more. My immediate goal is to teach Strippa Yoga in multiple cities around the country. From there, I'd like to start teaching yoga teacher trainings exclusively for people in the industry.
Take one more big breath in.
There's a lot of stuff that I didn't have when I was first in the industry that I would like to be able to offer girls now.
There's not a lot of resources for girls in this community. It's kind of you learn as you go, but with Strippa Yoga, you have someone who you can fall back on and depend on. They're there, they're your family.
Society views you different when you're a stripper. So I've had to navigate the last 10 years, my entire adult life, navigate a society that overall hates me and still like hold my head high. I get passionate about it because I love these girls so so much. Like, these girls are just some of the most like incredible beings, like soft, beautiful souls. How people are able to like dehumanize somebody just based on them being sexual beings when we're all sexual beings. Like, I just can't really comprehend that.
There's an energy living within you. That same energy lives within you. At the source of this energy, dwelling within us, you and I are one.
Jaguars are the largest cats in the Americas, roaming as far north as southern Arizona. They're also an endangered species. Filmmakers Ryan and Rita Olinger went to the western Sierra Madre Mountains in Mexico to document efforts being made to save them and their habitat. These scenes are from their documentary, Where Jaguars Roam.
The Northern Jaguar Reserve spans over 55,000 acres in northeastern Sonora, Mexico. Conservationists there are restoring essential habitat for the endangered jaguar that has been almost completely wiped out in the U.S.-Mexico borderlands. The jaguar is North America's top predator. Big, strong, and elusive, it holds a unique place in the legend and lore of big cats in the wild. Nestled between the Aros and Yaqui rivers, this region is woven with a wide variety of contrasting habitats, allowing for an immense diversity of species to coexist and thrive. Over 500 species of plants have been documented on the reserve, providing food and shelter for a multitude of insect species. It is also home to an abundance of amphibians, reptiles, and birds, as well as 40 different mammal species. Like these coati, resting high in the safety of a native palm tree, while predators roam below. This is home to the northernmost population of jaguars on the planet.
Todos estos ranchos antes pues eran de un señor, tenía mucho ganado, ¿no? Y mi papá empezó hace como 36 años a trabajar con el señor ese, y trabajando con ganado, defendiéndolo del jaguar, de los otros felinos. Mi papá, toda mi familia. Pues yo prácticamente aquí me crié, mis hermanos también. Y ahorita estamos involucrados en diferente, ¿no? En cuidar el jaguar de los humanos aquí en la Reserva Jaguar del Norte.
The teams that do this work must hike great distances over difficult terrain to maintain more than 200 camera traps. The gathered photos allow researchers to see the overall physical condition of the jaguar population, their territory size, and which species share this territory. Over the past decade, reserve biologist Miguel Gomez has perfected the art of tracking these wandering cats.
Que busco para colocar una cámara es un lugar donde haya rastros de animales. Pueden ser huellas, cacas, restos de algún venado, de algún jabalí que un gato haya comido. Un lugar también que sea abierto, donde no haya mucha vegetación, para que sea más fácil fotografiar a los animales y la hierba no esté moviéndose enfrente de la cámara. Así tendremos más fotos de animales.
To extend the safety of jaguars beyond the reserve's border, camera traps are also placed on neighboring ranches. Ranchers are compensated whenever images of wild cats are captured. This involvement with the local community has played a crucial part in stopping illegal hunting of these endangered predators. When night falls, jaguar activity picks up. It's extremely rare to encounter a wild jaguar. Its survival depends on its ability to blend into the environment and not be seen.
En una salida de campo que son de 10 a 8 días, más o menos camino como de 10 kilómetros, revisar cámaras trampa en los ranchos, y tengo 7 años y no he mirado ningún jaguar.
Es muy difícil, hay muy pocos animales en las cámaras. Cada mes pues hay fotos de jaguares, hemos visto cientos de fotos de varios individuos, pero mucha gente piensa que si vas al campo vas a ver animales por doquier, pero es complicado. Yo creo que ellos, los jaguares, han estado muy cerca de nosotros, pero pues no los hemos visto. A veces hemos revisado cámaras y nos damos cuenta que el jaguar ha estado 1 hora después que nosotros, justo cuando apenas nos vamos.
Solo en una ocasión, el compañero Miguel y yo estamos caminando a un lugar a revisar unas cámaras trampa y solo tuvimos la oportunidad de escuchar un jaguar. Estaba como gruñéndonos muy fuerte, es impresionante el sonido que tiene, muy diferente a todos los otros felinos, muy bonito.
¿Por qué los jaguares? Pues son una especie que necesita protección, principalmente porque están amenazados. Son muy pocos animales en esta población más al norte del continente.
Quisiera que hubiera más jaguares, conservarlos, para que las generaciones futuras lo pudieran observar, trabajar en esta área de acá, que convivieran con el jaguar, que lo apreciaran como pues uno lo aprecia, ¿verdad?
Muy pocas personas tienen la fortuna de estar aquí. Creo que todos deberíamos valorar más estos ambientes, estos hábitats.
The effort to preserve this crucial wildlife habitat extends beyond international borders, walls, and fences. And that raises the hope of an optimistic future for the elusive and endangered jaguar.
Thank you for joining us here on Arizona Illustrated. I'm Tom McNamara. See you next week.